welcome to my little spring TBR. I'm calling it a spring TBR because I don't read a ton. I do like to read, I'm just a very slow reader, and with school and everything I tend not to read a lot, but I'm very excited to share all the books I want to read in the next couple of months with y'all. I'll also do a little explanation of where I've been. Honestly, I took like a week or two off because my parents were in town and things like that, and then honestly school got super hectic. It was midterms, things like that, but school is still kind of hectic, but it slowed down a little because it was spring break last week. So I've been chilling a little. Definitely have like work to do, especially when it comes to like keeping my apartment clean, but honestly it's been not relaxing, but it's definitely been not as like crazy and busy right now. So that's why I'm just hopefully going to start uploading a little more consistently for you. And I'm going to start with this spring TBR. If you've never seen a book video before, I'm obsessed with booktube, even though I'm like a slow reader. A TBR is your to be read, so all the books you would like to read and you plan on reading. Sometimes you get to them all, sometimes you don't, sometimes you just get to a few. So I'm going to start out with the books I'm reading for class. I'm currently taking a literature class that is focused on the books of Harry Potter. So right now I'm on Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, and probably, well, at least by the end of the semester I'll have read all the other books as well. I've never actually read them before, and also I was reading this over spring break, like reading the book, and now that I'm back at school I've been listening to the audiobook more just because I'm able to get through it a little bit faster if I read through the audiobook. So I think I'm like in the middle of chapter 13 right now, and I do have class tomorrow, the day I'm filming this, but I don't think we're on the 4th book yet. I think we're still on the 3rd book. I'm hoping. I definitely know I can get this book done by next week, but I'm not going to be done by tomorrow. So I'm crossing my fingers and hoping we aren't starting this book tomorrow. The next book I will be reading this month is called Majesty. It's the 3rd book in the American Royal series by Katherine McGee, I believe. I'm pointing over here because I actually am currently reading this book on my phone through the Kindle app, through Libby, so I'm getting it through my library. I'm on the 3rd book in this series, but the overall series is basically based off of the idea of, instead of becoming a democracy, what if America started off as a monarchy? So George Washington wasn't our first president, but was our first king instead. So it's pretty much in modern times. It is specifically dated, I think it's like 2019, 2020. It's basically follows 4 characters: Beatrice, who's the heir to the throne; Samantha, her sister, who's the spare; Nina Gonzalez, who's Samantha's best friend, who's a commoner; and then Daphne, I think her last name is like Dayton or something like that, who is a part of the royal court, but who is really trying to become like royalty and become a princess. Like, that's her ultimate goal in life, is to become as powerful as possible and get her family as much power. It's a really cool book series. I really like it. I'm on the 3rd book, so I don't want to like talk too much about it and give it too many spoilers. If you care about like spiciness of romance books, this book is not, from what I remember, it's like not spicy at all, but I love that series of books. I think I started it like a couple years ago. I only picked up the 1st book because it was compared to Gossip Girl, which I feel like is a fairly good comparison to those books. So if you like Gossip Girl, you might like that. So the next book I have is Beach Read by Emily Henry. I actually know nothing about this book. I just know people really like Emily Henry, and I picked this up at Target because Sam, my boyfriend, I don't know how much I talk about Sam on this YouTube channel. We've been dating for like a year and a half, but I honestly don't remember how much I've really mentioned him. But Sam and I were at Target one day, and it was like a buy one get one 50% off or something like that, or like buy 2 get 2, I don't remember. It was like some deal. So he picked out a couple books and I picked out Beach Read by Emily Henry. Yeah, I don't really know much about this book. I could read the back. I'm pretty sure it's like a romance. I know most Emily Henry books are romances. Maybe I'll read the back to y'all, but if you're interested in book talk, you're probably familiar with it. Augustus Everett is an acclaimed author of literary fiction. January Andrews writes best-selling romance. When she pens a happily ever after, he kills off his entire cast. They're polar opposites. In fact, the only thing they have in common is that for the next 3 months, they're living in neighboring beach houses, broke and bogged down with writer's block. Then one hazy evening, one thing leads to another, and they strike a deal designed to force them out of their creative ruts. Augustus will spend the summer writing something happy, and January will pen the next great American novel. She'll take him on field trips worthy of any rom-com montage, and he'll take her to interview surviving members of a backwoods death cult. Obviously, okay. Everyone will finish a book, and no one will fall in love, really. Okay, that sounds exciting. I really did just pick this up because I had heard people talking about this. So this should definitely be interesting and fun. Definitely, like, good for the springtime, as I'm, like, I'll probably, like, end up reading this in May as I'm, like, wishing to be home by the beach. The next book I have is A Court of Thorns and Roses. I don't know why this title is so hard for me to say, by Sarah J. Maas. I've never read one of her books before, but I know she's super popular right now, so I thought I would try reading this one. I am a couple chapters in. What chapter even am I in? I'm in, like, chapter 2. Yeah, I'm in chapter 3. If you've, like, read this book before, she's at the market. Honestly, I don't really know what this book is about, other than it's, like, fairies and fantasy. Maybe I should read the back. When 19-year-old huntress Feyre, I also don't know how to say any character's name in this book. Fantasy novels, can you make people's names easier to say? Kills a wolf in the woods, a terrifying creature arrives to demand retribution. Dragged to a treacherous magical land she knows about only from legends, Feyre discovers that her captor is not truly a beast, but one of the lethal immortal fairies who once ruled her world. At least he's not a beast all the time. Wait, I think I did already get this spoiled for me on TikTok. My TikTok is covered in this book. As she adapts to her new home, her feelings for the fairy Tamlin transform from icy hostility into a fiery passion that burns through every lie she's been told about the beautiful, dangerous world of the Fae. But something is not right in the fairylands. An ancient wicked shadow is growing, and Feyre must find a way to stop it or doom Tamlin and his world forever. So is this, like, enemies to lovers? People who read this book are probably, y'all are probably laughing at me as I'm, like, theorizing about what this book could be about. I will say I do really like fantasy, because for a while one of my favorite books was The Red Queen. I still really like it. I just never got into reading the rest of the books, but my mom did, and she really likes them. And The Red Queen made me realize I love a romance. That's a good recommend. If you guys want to get into, like, fantasy, read The Red Queen. It's like a chill, easy to read book. Okay, final book of the night. Very different than any of these other books, but it's Elvis and Me by Priscilla Presley with Sandra Harmon. Also, it says Priscilla's middle name. I just honestly don't know how to say it. Maybe y'all can figure it out. I'm so sorry. I have a really hard time with the names. But I loved the movie Priscilla last year. It was my top movie of the year. It made it onto my Letterboxd top 4. And I really just wanted to read the source material of that movie. It even has, like, a little thing right here that says, soon to be the major motion picture Priscilla. It is the major motion picture Priscilla. If you aren't very familiar with Priscilla and Elvis's story, Priscilla and Elvis met when she was 14, and Elvis was about 24, I believe. He might have been, like, 23, 24. And she eventually moved in with him her senior year of high school, and then they got married when she was 21, and then they had a kid and did eventually get a divorce. But it's just really interesting relationship to look at between them, especially from like the eyes of Priscilla, and so I'm a little scared because I know this book is quite sad, but I am really interested to read it myself. When the movie had just come out, I had several TikToks on my page that were like excerpts of this book, comparing them to scenes from the movie, so I am very excited to be able to read it for myself. My friend actually read this book and said it was pretty sad, so what I'm thinking I might do is like read like chunks of this book and then like read chunks of my other books, because sometimes I can't do too much sad at once. Like I'll need a balance. But yeah, that's my entire spring TBR. I know it's like a little late, I guess, like spring technically started March 21st, so that means I'm until June 21st, if I'm doing it that way. Thank you for watching. I will be so honest, some of these books might not get read until like December, but I'm going to do my best. I love you all. If you want to follow me on my social media, I might have mentioned it earlier, might have not, where I tend to be a little more active, especially on like TikTok. I kind of post whatever there. You can follow me at angela.mary.ghoular on Instagram, at angela.mary on TikTok. But for that, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye!